look at using social media, so I want to just ask you, in general, your target people that you kind of communicate when you're online. So you can just talk about your business and who you're doing, what's your target market and all that other kind of stuff. And then it's an interesting story where that way of targeting those clients got confused by somebody from another sex, or they made comment on something that you said. So then once that you were made aware of that, then you kind of made some shifts, or you just thought it was funny, however you respond to something like that. So if you want to just talk about this as your target audience, who's your target audience?
My target audience are females, baby boomers specifically, because I feel like, especially here in the Piedmont Triad, women are what makes the economy strive. Now, I'm not saying that men don't do that, but women are more nurturing. I gotta keep that out. Women are more nurturing, so they want to see the dollars trickle back into their communities because they want their communities to be a place that their children grow up. Now, what I found the difference with men is they'll put money in other places, other states, other cities, other countries. Not to say that they're not as nourishing as women are, but they are looking at different aspects of how business goes. So women, we like helping other women. Now, despite what people may think, women are catty and so on, it may be a little true, but we do genuinely love each other and want to see each other succeed. So, and we're all mothers, which goes back to that nurturing aspect, and we want to see each other succeed. So we try to pump money back into the Triad community by helping other women do that.
So when you are posting online or using social media, is it more of a regional or a local type of area of concern that you have with your audience?
Well, it depends. You know, I have several businesses. I'll give you an example of one that is regional, which is the Sweethearts of the Triad. And it's ironic that we're having this discussion because it is based geared towards women. It's for women entrepreneurs that work in the Piedmont Triad, have their own businesses, and they work in the community by either volunteering, donating, or holding drives, whatever it is to help the community. And one of my mentors, Angel Guerrero, sent me an email. He said, hey, why isn't there one of these, or why are you not doing this for the men of the Triad? We're sweethearts too. And I thought about what he said for a while, and after I thought about all the work I'm doing with Sweethearts of the Triad on the women's side, I thought, well, maybe he can create one with the men, but it will be a little bit more work, and not to be offensive to men, Bill, because you are very smart, but men have a different learning curve. I'm not sure if I offend anyone when I say that, but they have different brain thought processes. Again, going back to us being nurturing and the women helping. If there was a Coach store, for example, those of us who like Coach products, down the street, as opposed to one in New York, a lot of people would leave North Carolina to go to New York to get the Coach purse. Whereas women working in business and helping to support each other will go right down the street to a woman-owned business and buy that Coach purse. So they're more likely to keep it here as opposed to take it somewhere else because they realize they're taking from their children or their children's future.
So, Shisa, what's your target?
Well, my target is actually definitely women and nonprofits, similar to Yolanda. I do typically, and I have in the last, let's say 6 months, try to lower the age demographic because typically mine was about 25 up to around 50. What we've done in the last 6 months or so is really try to lower that target demographic to reach the college students as well, because that is, in my opinion, something that typically is underserved. And I think that's because we feel like it's college, so they have everything that they need. And it's something where I think that there is a great possibility for the organizations that partner with the colleges, partner with the departments, and try to provide programming and events that are for the college students that the college is overlooking. So for me, just going forward, one of the things that I am doing is really working with the colleges, specifically at this time North Carolina A&T State University, as well as UNCG. And those things to me, I think, have pretty much brought like a revitalized kind of thing back to the business, just because it seems like the things that I do, they're not doing in college. So when you market to a population that's been underserved, it's like, wow, let me gravitate to it and I want to be a part of it. And it really does make a big difference. And sometimes I think that things can just be so oversaturated, especially in the demographic that's going to be like 25 to, let's say, 35. It seems like, oh, it's so many things going on, but that doesn't mean that those things are quality. So we have to be able to discern what the quality things are and exactly where we want to put our time and our effort with the marketing. And I think for me, just going with a younger demographic, but not forgetting about the older demographic, is something that's really, really working, because they are tech savvy. They follow easily. They make sure that they repost things, that they, send out messages for you. It's a lot easier to get somebody that is consistently working with technology to continue to spread that message.
Let me ask you this. Is there, because you mentioned a number of different generations that you have to speak to. Within that, is there, words or phrases that those demographics get, that you need to say, if I am going to get their attention, I need to say this?
I think that there are words that are probably going to be a little bit more cross-generational, so that it's easy. It also depends on what your subject matter is, because if your subject matter, what I'm doing particularly right now is working with the natural hair community. So just saying natural hair is going to attract all of those ages with no problem, because they're already interested in it, they're participating in this natural hair movement, and so it's not hard to get them to be a part of that. Now, if you were doing something a little bit different, and this is definitely not a slight to anybody, but Yolanda's an author. When you say read, that may be something where the younger kids, they just don't want to say that word, even though they are reading, but it does make a difference in their perception of things.
Right.
So one thing that people like is free. Free is a word where, it'll at least make them pay attention to what's going on. When you say, certain times, dates, locations, certain things that attract a lot of people are celebrities. So depending on what your brand is, what you stand for, who you really want to reach, then you do have to change those words up to make it a little bit, more substantial for them to pay attention to it. But if I was to just say what I think that brands just in general should do, they should come up with some type of hashtag that gives people a reason to follow them specifically, and will make people continue to post their events and post, whatever's going on with their company, because now you have something that people can follow and something that you can measure on all of the different social media platforms. And it's so much easier to do that now, so you can really see where your message is going, and you don't have to pay anybody to do that.
Yolanda, is there, other than read, is there words or phrases that will really get people to like, or mainly your demographics, to like something or follow or retweet something that you're doing, other than just, because you did it?
Well, in my demographics, I will say this. No, in a sense, as far as working with the baby boomers and older. Now, I'm not limited to the baby boomers, but when you say things like hashtag, they're like, what is a hashtag? Mm-hmm. So you have to say £, or the phone sign, or whatever the case may be. And whereas she's just working with the younger people who can keep up with what she's saying because she's a ball of energy, I have to slow down because they don't get it as fast as they would have normally gotten it when they were younger, or even in this generation. So certain things that they would actually repost or share with other people, self-publish, work for yourself, or things like that. And the reason why I found that is because the baby boomers are either stuck in corporate America, or they're being laid off and they're finding it hard to go look for another job. So they're trying to recreate themselves, which is where the branding side of my business comes from. So when I tell them that you need a website, well, why do I need a website? How are people going to know about you? Well, you need to brand yourself. Why do I need to do that? Doesn't the website take care of that? No, because especially if we're going to stick to, for example, demographics here in the Piedmont Triad, there are so many of us doing the same thing. So for me to say that person does marketing, that somebody's going to go out and just pick a person to do marketing. But if they know lady business, which a lot of people do, or that literary lady, which a lot of people do, they are familiar with those types of people, and they're more likely to tweet, if they tweet, or Facebook post, or Google Plus or post out more than someone with just A, B, and C marketing. So you have to work with these people at a slower pace for them to get it. Going back to her demographics, hashtag the technology lingo that I still don't get all of, OMG and LOL.
She gets OMG.
And I've learned so much more lately, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how do people figure that out? How do kids communicate? So I think it just varies in different demographics. There are some things that cross over, but when you have the college student or even the high school student all the way over to the baby boomer or the person who's 70 who thought they were going to retire and realized they really can't, there's a big gap.
That's a gap. But I think the one thing, and I'm sure that you'll agree with this, that will unite all of those age demographics is pictures.
Yes,
and that's
video.
why Pinterest, and definitely video, that's why Pinterest is one of the #1 referrals to other sites, because it is easy to look at a picture. And now one of the things that has been really great has been the memes. And the memes are, you have this little picture, one of my favorites is little angry cat, and it's a message on there, and it makes you pay attention to it because it is a picture, #1, but then 2, it's some kind of, other written message there that makes you pay attention to it. And then you have the opportunity to write all kinds of extra things. So once they actually pay attention to that picture, then go ahead and you've kind of reeled them in, and then just get them in as far as with your actual message that you have. It makes a lot of difference.
And I want to agree with what she's saying too, along with videos and photos, they're more visual. How many times have you been given something to read and you really don't feel like reading it, but when you either hear it in audio, see it in video, or see a picture, you're more interested in it. And the marketing era right now, she's saying the memes are getting very popular. Who doesn't like babies? Who doesn't like cats? If you look at a lot of the commercials who are trying to sell their product and services, they're using babies and cats, and they are the most popular pictures and videos out there, and they're going viral.
Now because I see a lot of that stuff from my wife when she shares those things to me. Do you think that is more female inducing to kind of get that reaction than males, or is it? Do you think it's pretty much the same, and I'm just missing something?
I think animals are universal, personally, as far as when you do that. But if it's something funny, you're going to look at it, and you can't tell me that it's some funny kind of thing, even if you're kind of scrolling